Alright, welcome back to lesson 3 of White Tiger Kenpo Yellow Belt. In this lesson we're going to talk about Fang of the Cobra and Knee of Vengeance. So let's bow in and get started. Okay, let's first review your first 4 techniques that you learned in your first 2 lessons. Attacking the circle and stop hits, A through E was in your first lesson. So we're going to step in, 12, chop or back fist, hammer fist, or chop the neck and chop the groin. Either way, I'm more interested in the footwork. So I'm going to use a back fist, hammer fist, left hand in check, 12, slide in, slide out, 3, back fist, hammer fist, slide in, slide out, back fist, hammer fist, slide in, and slide back out, back fist, hammer fist. Work on your head going up and down and maintaining a level play as you do the technique. Try to keep the stance the same. So at A is your 12, 3, 6, and 9. These are your main attacking positions that you'll have. And then from attack defense-wise, you'll more likely be stepping either to 130, 430, 730, or 1030. So this is your B variation. We're going to practice these angles by stepping with a right extended outward block, reverse punch. For those familiar with the Tracy's, this is a Japanese stranglehold, or I'm sorry, Japanese sword A move. So Japanese sword B. 1, extended outward block, reverse punch into hard bow, back to stance to your 230. Slide in, slide out, 430. Extended outward block, reverse punch, back to stance. Slide in, slide out, 730. Extended outward block, reverse punch, back and hard bow, back to stance, 1 more, slide in, slide out, extended, reverse punch, and back to stance. And that's attacking the circle A and B. And then as you remember, attacking the circle C, these you're going to make up your own. A quick history note here is in the original Tracy's 40 self-defense techniques, there was an attacking the circle in orange belt, but it was mainly close to our version, the C version, which is where you had 5 opponents, or you had to use 5 techniques to handle a circle attack situation. So it's kind of bringing the past back into the present with the C when we inserted it. But when they went to their 30 technique system, they changed it from a make your own up to working the 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clocks, as well as your 130s, 430s, 730s, and 1030s in an attacking the circle variation. So the C version is you got 4 opponents, make up use 4 self-defense techniques, either something you've learned from us or from somewhere else, and try to defend yourself in an attacking the circle scenario. Put them anywhere you want, under any conditions that you wish. This is not a pass or fail. We're just mainly looking forward to see you start thinking beyond a one-on-one attack and more into multiple attacks. And then in your first lesson, you will also learn your stop hits, which are initiation moves. You have stop hit A. Okay, not really an extended outward block. This is more of a block grab with a vertical punch to the face as you go into a hard bow. So when you break this down, it goes to horse, to hard bow. That's A. B, same thing, but this time we're going to use a heel palm. For no other purpose than to show you it doesn't really matter what strike you use, the motion is the same. So we got A, vertical, B, heel palm, C position, as I explained in the first lesson, this can go either step forward, back, however it is that you need to make it work. I personally step forward and into a elbow strike under the chin as we grab the arm. So C. So we have A as you step in left, vertical, step in left with the heel palm for B, step in right for an elbow, or you can step back and do the same technique. That's C. So D is we're going to step right to the outside and do a chop to the neck, followed by a hammer fist to the nose. Okay? And that's A through E. Now, a lot of students will ask, well, what if I mix these up during my test? I'm not going to ding you for not putting them in order, as long as you get all variations and you can show me that you know the difference between them, which in this case is really not much of a difference at all. So you got attacking the circle and you got stop hit in your first lesson. Then in your second lesson, we talked about Chinese sword A, which is for a right punch. You step in with your inward block or crossbody parry, figure 8 motion, use a chop to the collarbones as you draw to a soft bow, left hand in check. Then you had the B variation, which is for a left punch. You start to do A and realize your opponent's throwing a left and not a right, so you're going to throw a back fist, leaning slightly into it and flicking your wrist as you do it. That's Chinese sword A and B. Then you have delayed sword, similar to Chinese sword, part of the same family, but we're going to delay the sword action. We're going to do this by stepping back, front snap kick the groin. The premise is here they're going to double over or drop right where they're at, and we're going to chop the neck. The B variation starts off identical. Kick, but in this case, instead of dropping like we thought they would, they backed up on us, or they saw the technique coming and we missed something and they're getting out of the line of fire or the point of contact. So as we go in, we kick, we chop, we missed at some point, so we throw a crossing back kick. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. So delayed sword B again. Inward, front snap kick, chop, they're no longer in range, crossing back kick, and then back out. And those are your first 4 techniques. Now, on to your 2 new techniques. The first one, Fang of the Cobra. This is for a 2-hand choke. Now, a lot of people, when they start getting choked, they'll start fighting with the hands. Don't waste the energy, because it's going to be a fight you're not really going to win. So what you want to do is just check the hands and practice this. Start off by letting them put a mild choke on you and doing the technique, and then work up to doing it as they grab, so they're not actually getting a chance to clamp down. So we want to pin the hands to the chest. Okay, we don't want to do it up high on the elbow, because that'll bend the arms, it'll pull them in further to us, and you're going to jam up your spear hand to the throat. So you just want to check the hands. That's all you're trying to do, is check the hands to your chest, so that if they let go, you're going to know it and you can counter it. So as they check, as they grab, we're going to check, and at the same time we're going to step in. There should be one move, just like that. And we're going to step in with the spear hand to the throat, or to the esophagus, specifically right there where the soft part of it. We step in and we strike the throat. Now, the opponent at this point is going to do one of 2 things. They're either going to kind of drop where they're at as they grab their throat, or they're going to back up and grab their throat. In this case, we're assuming they're going to pretty much stay where they're at. So one reason we want to check the hands is to maintain control of them. So after we've gone in and struck the throat, we're going to come up and over the arms, maintaining that check, and strike the eyes with a claw. Now the thumb should go about under the chin. The fingers are spread apart to get through the bridge of the nose and bent as you strike into the eyes. I also teach students, as you strike, to push. Just put a little slight push onto that as you knock that head back. Boom. That'll keep them off balance. Recheck. Do the same thing. Thumb under, strike the eyes as you go in. Now this first one, depending on the opponent, they could have maybe a hat on or sunglasses. You can use this first strike as a clearing action. You get those glasses out of the way, check, and then strike. Okay? So, we're not done yet, but let's just repeat. Pin, strike. This is a clear or a claw. Recheck, clear or a claw. Grab shoulders or arms, whatever you can get a hold of. Drive your knee into their groin or body. Stomp the foot like you did on Knee of Vengeance, and push them away. Now some of you will notice as you practice these, as you go to stomp the foot, you might have a tendency to go right into Knee of Vengeance. That's the muscle memory going into work, showing you that, hey, I know this technique. And you're just going to have to kind of overcome that urge when you're doing this technique. On the street, it doesn't matter. Okay, again, they come up and choke. Pin, spear hand, claw and shove slightly, or clear, depending on how you need this. Recheck, claw, push slightly, making sure the fingers are slightly bent to get between the bridge and strike those eyes. Then we're going to grab, knee, stomp, and throw them away. Okay, from here, pin and strike. Claw or clear, recheck. Claw or clear, grab, knee the groin, stomp the foot, and throw them away with the intent on, one, you hopefully just broke the top of the foot, and by shoving them while you're hanging onto it, you might break or damage the ankle. Okay, again, pin and strike, claw, claw, grab, knee, stomp, throw away. Okay, from this angle, pin and strike, 1, claw, 2, or clear, 3 as we recheck, grab, knee, stomp, throw. Okay, one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 moves with the throw, and that's Fang of the Cobra. Now, a side note, when I teach this to students, I say in the street, you may not want to use this because it's really hard to get that spot, and if you miss it, it's going to be hard to recover because he's still standing. So that's why you want to immediately go into the eyes. But I would recommend in the street is more of a web hand throw, and then go into the technique. I know that takes away from the name Fang of the Cobra, but it's more likely that you're going to get your target with a web hand than you do a spear hand, especially if they've got clothing on or is bundled up. Just something to be aware of. You don't necessarily have to use the spear hand in the street. A web hand will work just as well, if not better. Okay, your next lesson, or your next technique in this lesson, I should say, is Knee of Vengeance. A lot of people of you will know this technique if you took the first 4 lessons that I have online, or if you've taken a Tracy's technique lesson. It's pretty much the same technique as taught in Tracy's, with my own little twist. As a lot of you know, I put a little twist to a lot of Tracy's techniques. This is for a grab. Now, people usually don't come up and just grab. Okay? If they're grabbing, especially with both hands, there's going to be some shoving going on. Either they're pushing or they're pulling on you. So what we want to do as soon as they start to reach with both hands is we're going to step back with our right foot, just like this, and counter grab. Okay, don't worry so much about the shoulders as just getting a hold of their arms, whatever you can get a hold of, and counter grab them and get your stability. Okay, this way if they push and shove, it's not going to make a difference because you're stable. They can shove you all you want, but you're in a nice semi-hard bow and you've counter grabbed. Now this also sets up your knee strike. So you got a lot more room to develop power to make that strike count. So as we step back, we're going to knee. Hence the name Knee of Vengeance. And as we come down, we're going to stomp the foot with the heel of our foot. Okay, and go into what we call a Jerry Lewis stance. From this angle, it looks just like this. Left leg up on the soft bow, right foot pointed in the opposite direction. And this sets you up for your cradle and crush, because you're going to use your hip power with your hand in this position. Your arm is going to cradle, and we're going to strike as we twist back into a fighting or horse stance, like so. Now, don't stop like this. Okay, don't assume how big their head is. Train your muscles to continue that motion until it comes into some contact. Because there again, if you practice stopping here, guess what's going to happen on the street? You're going to stop there. You're going to have a split second where you're going to have to continue on that motion, and you're going to lose whatever power you've developed at that point. So, practice cradle and crush until your arm comes into something solid. This way, when it does hit the arm head, it's going to be going full force. Okay, again, they come in and grab. And we're going to assume there's some pushing and pulling going on, so we're going to step back and counter grab immediately, like this. Then we're going to knee the groin, stomp the foot. Soft bow, hand grabs the hair, the ear, whatever you can get your hands on. Right arm's cocked high, back to square horse as we throw the target. Okay, from this angle, they grab. We step back and counter grab, get our stability. Drive the knee into the groin or the body as we pull them in. Stomp the foot. Grab the hair, cradle and crush. Okay. Now, even though the technique calls for a knee strike to the groin, don't spend a lot of time focused on that. Just drive the knee straight up, and whatever you can get, you can get. Also pull them in. Okay. There again, we don't want them just standing there. We want to push and pull. Get used to pushing your opponent and pulling your opponent as you do these techniques. Push them around a little bit, keep them off balance, keep them unsteady. As long as they're off balance and unsteady, it's going to be very hard for them to counter whatever it is that you're trying to do. Okay, again, they grab. We step back and counter grab. Drive that knee up, stomp that foot, grab the hair, cradle and crush. Okay, from here, they push, come up to grab, we step back and counter grab. Knee, stomp, grab the hair, cradle and crush. Okay, so now you know Fang of the Cobra and you know Knee of Vengeance. So practice those. You got 6 techniques. You're about a quarter of the way through yellow belt now. You're doing great. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact me either via comments or the chat option within Patreon. And we hope to see you back for lesson 4. Good luck.